live. I'm not going to laugh anymore. Sorry.
It is September 28th, 2017, and this is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast.
I just wanted to switch it up.
Yeah, we had Alexis or last week talking about how we have a dedicated grunt man. Now you're the dedicated mouth gun guy. I just realized that I have our sound going watching the live chat with you guys. I am Tim Herb. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Kevin Bradley, across the table from me.
Yeah.
Dan James decided to show.
Playoffs, motherfucker. Eat it, Orlando.
Man, we
Eat
had
it.
so many people in the live chat watching, and then they just slowly dissipated over the 20 minutes it took for us to get started.
Yep. Thanks, Dan.
Which one is that? Yeah, yes, he's the Uber dog with the glasses.
Oh, speaking of which, that's a good point. We got some new reviews.
Yeah, we do. I don't know what's up with Dan's volume right now. I'm trying to figure it out. It's like he's really loud at one time.
The thing is, Tim, it doesn't matter because I know you'll just take care of it.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'll be the loudest one on the mixer regardless.
Yeah, so thank you to you guys. We are one shy of the big 4-0. We're almost over the hill, as it were, on the iTunes reviews. How many do we have since last week? Just the one?
Yeah, just the one. We're at 39 now. Who wants to read it?
I'll read it.
Okay, hold on. I'm pulling it up here. I got to scroll through so many just to get to it.
Yeah, we had somebody leave a 5-star rating, which we love. No review. It would be nice to be able to read it, but all right. This is, how dare you not listen to, you can't even see the whole, I can't remember what, this television show, I think is what it says. I looked at it on my computer. The three plastics don't know anything about soccer and should support real grassroots soccer in PDL or something like true, passionate soccer supporters. If you tune into this circus, you'll probably see Tim fiddling with audio equipment knobs, which I was doing, Dan doing British things, plus yelling randomly, and also not showing up on time. You forgot that, Jay. And Kevin laughing out loud at odd moments, but in all seriousness, they are an entertaining podcast team and a joy to watch on YouTube and or listen to via podcast. However, they should have Jay Riddle on more often. 11 stars, the end. Love Orlando is not the South. Orlando ain't the South.
But who left the review?
J.W. Riddle. our man, my fellow Android man, finally left us an iTunes review.
So some of you may be wondering, how do I get my review read on the show? I'm an Android user. I don't have an iTunes account. Jay not only set up an iTunes account just to leave that review, which was great, but YouTube is also an option. We got another review this week.
Oh, God.
From
Tadaya?
Tadaya.
It was Tadaya 4.
It was. It's really great. Watch several of your vids. Several.
So he's dedicated.
Watch several of our vids. You've been doing these vids for how many weeks and barely averaged 200 views? Y'all ain't nowhere near funny enough to be taking shots at our players, i.e. mirrors like that. Weird emoji face. Oh, and ditch the awkward Uber dork with the glasses and cringy forced laugh. No stars.
So it's funny because I don't think emphasis on the no stars. So I think it's funny because neither of you guys really monitor that stuff, and I have the email account hooked up to my phone, and I'm sitting there at work on Saturday, and I get that alert. Somebody left a comment. I was like, oh, cool. Somebody left a comment. I love when this happens. People usually chime in. If they're going to watch on the YouTube, they'll chime in. They'll interact with us on the live chat. And I was like, I don't know if I should send this to them. It's
I'm really glad you did.
It's like our first. Yeah. It's our first shit post that we've got.
We made it, guys. I made it, guys.
That's right. Good job, Kevin. Good job.
And he didn't even. I mean, he could have just played into, or she could have just played into, favorite and least favorite co-host with Soccer Cooligans. I mean, she could have won free tickets.
They totally missed an opportunity.
Speaking of free tickets to stuff, Brian Diefenbach, who we met yesterday, was a wonderful individual.
Met a lot of you guys yesterday. Yeah. Swickster we met yesterday.
Yeah, Rob Swick. We met Austin.
Austin from Terminus Legion.
Yeah, the president of Terminus Legion.
Met the Cooligans in person.
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
The Red Clay Comedy Festival kicked off today.
But back to Brian Diefenbach. I love that man to death, but you are rigging something. The fact that you won, first of all, the most wonderful prize of them all, being able to go and sit in the Delta Lounge with Jay Riddle.
Jay Riddle. I mean, that's award in and of itself.
That's right.
And then through our show, he won tickets to go to the Red Clay Comedy Festival.
He didn't even follow the rules, did he?
No, he was the first one to post a picture. But I will say,
I think Kat got most votes on both sides.
I'm not
favorite
surprised.
and least favorite.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know, man. Jay LaFleur said I was his favorite host.
Oh,
Whoa.
get it.
He's
I don't
just
think-
pandering.
Pretty sure
Yeah.
I can confidently say I did not get favorite from anyone. At least Kirby gave you shout out favorite. And
Because Kirby's awesome. And he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. No, so
I'll take Tadia any day.
Tadaya.
Today.
Yeah.
Ooh,
No,
that
Brian
was a good-
Diefenbach in the inappropriate fashion. He can't keep getting away with this. This is the perfect time for that friggin' Jesse Pinkman gif. No, yesterday was great. Kevin and I were able to get out to the Gulch.
Yeah.
Which still it feels like not dirty to say.
That was a good pour. Little hair of the dog.
Yeah.
Big time.
So, you're kind of going through what I went through a couple weeks ago. That first Wednesday night game, my body was just not ready for the kind of abuse that I can put it through on a weekend, on a weeknight.
Dean Worley's asking if the stream is actually up.
Looks like it.
I'm looking at
Maybe
it.
the
Yeah.
stream's late.
Maybe so. He's asking if it's up. No, Dan's
So
finally
unprepared.
here. Yeah.
Weird.
Anyway, so yeah, we were able to get to the Gulch, which still feels like a dirty word to me.
It does. Well, it feels like a dirty word whenever you're down there because it's all on asphalt and out in the middle of the sun.
It
and
takes 6 days to walk there.
You have a pilgrimage to get to the Atlanta United tailgates.
Yeah, no, but it was great though. It was Wednesday night tailgate, and we were able to go in. Like you said, we were able to meet up with some people that we hope to have on the show soon. And we met Jason Longshore, Jarrett, John Nelson, all those guys at Soccer Down here.
Oh,
Right.
Jared Smith. Oh,
Yeah.
Man.
And
Oh, wait, and we signed the Golden Spike.
oh yeah,
We all
Yes,
did.
we did.
All three of us. So it was
Great.
funny.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. Kevin and I.
That's what I bring to this
Yeah.
trio.
Kevin and I were walking through the stadium, and we get a group text. Dan's in our group. He's like, I'm over here signing the Golden Spike, and Kevin and I are both thinking that like you got some preferential treatment that.
Thought you were you were one of the ones bringing it in.
Nah, it's just outside.
It's like
You just found it in an alley somewhere.
I didn't realize that. Is it like that every week?
I have
every game.
no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I've only come through that gate though.
That gate is way less crowded than the main gate by the Falcon statue.
Oh, I've just ruined it for everyone.
I guess multiple people are having issues with the stream right now. It's interesting.
This is really weird. Sorry, Brittany S. Brittany S. is sick. Gonna watch as much as she can before she falls asleep. Feel better. And yeah, no stream for Seth Carter either. Brittany's got the stream though. Weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna try switching a few settings. I did try something different in terms of audio. It's just I'm just being a snob.
tinkering.
Yeah, tinkering too
Tinkering.
much.
Gotta play. Gotta put your fingers on the buttons and wiggle them around.
Yeah, no. So Montreal. I guess let's not stay on topic, but let's go back kind of chronologically,
Okay.
and I'll just keep stuttering. So Montreal game thoughts.
First half great, second half infuriating.
I didn't get to watch the game.
Oh, so
I'm ashamed to admit it. I did not actually watch the game, so I got sent up for work in Nashville like the day or two before, and I had to stay up there for that. So I missed out on my game. So I didn't get a chance to watch it.
So Saturday's the game. We see Miggy get pulled a hamstring early, get subbed off. Luckily, it's only going to be a couple weeks. He should be back for playoffs.
What do you think about the controversy surrounding that and the open discussion that it was Tata's fault for not revolving the squad, or it was the turf? Because turf is
I don't buy any of that. That's
the evil turf, which is,
ridiculous.
there's actually no studies that say turf is worse than artificial grass.
So I actually have a question about the training facility. Does Atlanta? I've seen pictures and videos of the training facility, and they have two fields. Do they have one that's grass and one that's turf?
I know I've seen the grass field destroyed from all the training before.
Right. So I mean,
know.
I feel like they would need to practice on turf.
So you said there's no
to-
scientific proof that turf is worse on you than
Right.
than
The
grass.
only study I found is actually turf is better than actual natural grass for injuries.
Well, no, for me as somebody, so I have knee problems, right? So I had an illustrious high school soccer career. Legitimately not. So we had a kid that had a prosthetic leg that
they would let him take it off and hit the ball like a baseball bat because it still counted. Just kidding.
Well,
I mean, it was tough because he had to stay in one place the whole time, but it was a real advantage whenever whenever he got goal side on corner kicks, dude was unstoppable. He could just hook that thing in there. It was like field hockey, man. It's like
this devolved really quick. No, legitimately.
We apologize for any amputee listeners.
So legitimate. No, he was good fun about it. Like he used to poke fun at himself all the time about it. Like he would take his prosthetic off and kick the ball with it, and he'd be like, "It's not a handball. It's not a handball."
Right.
Yeah.
Funny. I'm actually in tears.
Yeah. So anyway,
fake laugh, bro.
Just give him a laugh, bro. So go back to my illustrious high school soccer career. He played just as much as I did in my senior year. So anyway, I can't remember if it was my junior year or senior year, but anyway, I injured my knee. I was so close to scoring a goal in the run of play, and I knocked knees with the keeper, and my knee bent sideways. Ended up being like a sprained MCL. And I say all that to say this, like I've had a lot of knee problems because of that, whether that's tendonitis or it's spraining and all that. And I've had a much easier time. It's much more comfortable for me to play on turf. Especially like
it's got a little bit of a bounce,
right?
Well,
there's more give to
more
it.
Evenness.
Yeah, and it's
the whole field.
Yeah,
but I think the difference being your cuts are a lot more damaging on turf than I think on grass.
I don't know though. The only
turf I've really played on is out at Georgia Tech and the shitty lower fields at Silverbacks, and it's hardly turf anymore. It really is just green colored pellets at this point.
Yeah. But the sack fields at Georgia Tech are great.
Yeah, they were.
And I thought that the upper fields at the Silverback Stadium are great because they're newer. Right. Yes, exactly. This may be anecdotal, but I've had a much easier time playing on turf than I have on grass.
Well, we're also not playing on it professionally.
That's true. Level, I mean, we're playing at Central Park, or we're playing behind elementary schools, and you're talking about clay field or clay foundation underneath the grass, and it's probably not giving as much as proper soil and all that stuff. Anyway, so Mickey's injury.
Yeah, I'm not. Injuries just happen.
We have
been extremely lucky with injuries, with only Almiron and Garza being out and Martinez.
By that logic, can you blame every other injury on the fact that it's played on grass? That just seems so stupid.
I think it's just. I think it's just grabbing for headlines.
I think so too.
Well, especially at this point with Atlanta being so dominant, it's looking for some sort of.
Just grabbing and saying, Martino, angle. Oh, it's a blight on his career. He's completely screwed up everything now. Come on, dude.
As much as I respect what Matt Doyle does, I think he's great. Now, I would love to get him on the show at some point. I am not so thrilled with his assessment that Tata was like necessarily wrong for riding his players. I mean, if anything, we have better match fitness than anybody right now because of that reason.
Fittest team in the league.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, when Boswell came in
last night,
when Boswell came in, and I can't remember who was interviewing, but he was saying that what the team is focusing on right now is fitness,
right?
And it was, I mean, it could have been purely for this September run.
Well, I think it had to be. Yeah. I mean, and to that point, so that was some of the frustration that I had in the Montreal game, which was not as present last night, and I think it was because of the lineup changes that we saw, that we did see a lot of fresh legs in there and a lot of people eager to make an impact. And we'll talk about last night's game in a little bit, but this weekend's game against Montreal was really, really frustrating. I thought it was a great first half performance. It was tough seeing Almiron go out, and I got a little hesitant because I definitely saw Montreal coming out and pulling out the win Saturday. I think I had them as a 2-1.
I think it was 2-1 is what you said.
So as soon as that happens, I'm really, really concerned at that point. But first half was great. and good performance. And then the second half just sort of devolved into a lot of players that were showing really bad signs of that fatigue. Walks especially he just seemed really gassed that entire second half. So much so that I think that they did sub Mears on that second half pretty early on, if I'm not mistaken. And I say early on for Tata in the 75th minute, But yeah, but Josef especially was just maddening for me Saturday. And it's one of those things I feel like over the past few weeks, I've gotten much more, my opinions of Josef have become much more on one end or the other of the extreme, where I love him or I'm just blindly frustrated with him, because in that game Saturday, he was just making a lot of really, really selfish plays, in my opinion, or giving up on runs or pouting. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like he got too much in his own head. And there were several opportunities where he is just dancing and pirouetting around, pulling multiple defenders off, and Villalba is clearly wide open in the middle of the box, and he will not play the ball off just to take a shot.
With Martinez pulling those defenders away, though, I mean, that sort of magnetism that he has to pull those guys away, I mean, that helps open up for Villalba.
Right. So but it's only as good as its utilization. And so while I agree, like, you need to be able to have a player to pull those defenders, what good is pulling defenders if you're still going to hold on to the ball, and then ultimately you've got two defenders and a keeper around you, and you're still holding on to the ball rather than playing it off to your forward that's completely wide open in the middle of the box. And the other side of that is, while Josef is, trotting along and walking along, Almiron goes out, Villalba kind of falls into that 10 spot, and Villalba is running laterally side to side on the pitch and box to box. And it's just really, really frustrating to see that output and effort from him and not seeing that match by Josef necessarily.
Is anybody fitter on this team than Tito? For as fast as he is, for as much as, like, as quick, his runs are bursts of speed.
Yes, absolutely.
I was surprised he didn't get subbed off last night, actually.
Yeah, so was I.
Towards the 75th minute.
I was gutted that they took that goal away from him.
Oh,
because that was a beautiful.
It was
those beautiful plays.
It was one of those things that exact same setup that Martinez has plays itself out Saturday, and I was about to rage because Martinez pulls defenders off again. Villalba was open in the middle of the box. I'm like, pass it, play it off, and that's exactly what he does. He plays it back. It's the exact same setup, but the difference being Saturday, he does not make that play back. Granted, he's offsides, doesn't end up doing any same outcome essentially, but he at least had a little bit more awareness. I felt.
Come to think of it, I think there was an instance like that last night where it was him, and then it ended up being like three defenders, and there's someone out on the right, I believe. And he just trapped it, sort of turned, missed his moment to shoot, and then
just keeps it.
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating to see whenever you see players making runs and making the effort to support him, and it's not being played off. And it's great. It's great whenever Martinez does those things and you see that magic happen and he puts it away and Atlanta puts up the goals. Yeah. But it's really frustrating whenever that's happening and that magic isn't happening. So based off that selfishness,
we have some good banter going on in the live chat. First of all, we did meet Robert Swick yesterday. Welcome back, motherfucker. Went to Cuba for a vacation.
Seriously,
how cool is that? Anyway, so Tiger Man says, just to echo your sentiments about feeling that Josef was getting lazy and then he went and scored on a double or consecutive hat trick.
That's his third. Hasn't he a hat trick this season? He's got 3 hat tricks. It's like Chicago and then the 2 back-to-back ones.
Was it Chicago or was it Minnesota?
Oh, did he only score 2 against Chicago?
Yeah, I think so. It was either Chicago. I want to say was Tito had his first goal against Chicago. Josef had 2, and then I can't remember who scored the other.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Anyway, Brittany S saying the same thing, talking about the pirouette, saying she saw that he could have passed it. Dean Worley says we have yet to finish second. We can still win the Supporter Shield. I do love that optimism. Let's see. No problem with him. Seth Carter says no problem with him shooting. Hottest goal scorer.
Agreed. I think I don't have any problem with him shooting either, but it's when players are sacrificing the opportunities to shoot to do something that's unnecessary, that I get frustrated, or prohibiting other players from taking gimme shots to secure goals, and for whatever reason. And I'm not saying that it was because of his ego or anything like that. I don't know what it was, but it definitely seems that way whenever you're consistently put into this opportunity, and rather than taking the shot, it's like you're just doing unnecessary things to just look better, it seems like, But then he makes up for it.
Exactly. He makes up for it because he looks to me like a selfish player, but the second Julian Gressel put that goal in, his eyes and his face lit up, and he went and celebrated with him. He was so happy.
Well, also, you hear his quote about the Golden Boot. Everybody's saying, "What are your thoughts about the Golden Boot?"
I can go buy one.
I can go buy a Golden Boot.
He's all
I
about
want a
the
championship.
Winning. Remember him after the Orlando game? He scored a hat trick, and he's pissed off. Won't talk to the media because he didn't win the game. That's my guy.
Absolutely, I agree. Like I said, I get it. It was just frustrating to see, especially when there were opportunities.
Brad,
because you can't have both, right? You can't have you can't say that you're all about the winning, but then you're not allowing your team to be in a position consistently to take those shots necessarily.
You know what? Well, we all have frustrations with our players.
Right, absolutely.
Brad Guzan, awesome goalkeeper, will make stupid things happen sometimes. LGP, although I love him, he'll make like a stupid pass or do something that will irritate you. Assad, I love him too. He'll work magic, but then
he'll take a ridiculous dive
like last night.
Exactly.
And it's all of these things that all sort of compound the player. But I mean, we're going to have loves and hates about each of them.
I agree.
Seth Carter with the assist. It was Gressel scored an own. He had a shot deflected in as an own goal against Chicago. He was the fourth goal.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Martinez got a brace.
Yeah, it was Martinez 2. Tito had 1.
Yeah,
and then
Minnesota
and then Gressel.
His first hat trick.
Tiger Man 1143 says Assad shows promise, but his ball control makes my butthole clench. So
I feel like that about several players. I feel like that about Villalba's gotten a little bit better over the season. Where
his control, he looks and Dean made this point. He said, "Is it just me or does Tito look so shaky and unsteady whenever he's running? He looks erratic as shit."
He does.
Yeah. He's just like,
and I think that's why he goes Super Saiyan whenever he does score.
Yeah. Well, I love that, man.
It's like he can't control the power.
He's my favorite player on this team.
I don't think I can at this point. Walks is my favorite player week in and week out, but Villalba's definitely a close second for me at this point.
Yeah, when I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about when
we didn't record yesterday.
Yeah, I was some real low tech amateur hour sort of thing. But they were saying, when Villalba moves on, I was like, oh damn, when Villalba moves on.
Yeah, I don't like hearing that.
I don't. Yeah. But going back to Assad's ball control, sometimes it can be kind of frenetic. But I mean, go back to his game against. Was it? Oh my gosh. Where he scored 2 goals and 2 assists. I think it was against Dallas.
No, that was against LA.
LA. That's right. Yeah. I mean, his ball control was out of this world. But then also with Villalba is another frenetic player. And it seems like last night he was just relying on the ball bouncing off of the opponent's shins back onto Villalba's shins, and then he could carry on with his run.
Dude, some of that,
and it worked sometimes.
No, let's not talk about last night yet, because that is a big point that I want to make.
Well, what I was going to say about Assad's footwork is, and I know it's last night, but it also goes throughout the whole season. Whenever you guys were playing ball, I'm not a good defender by any stretch. And I'm talking in relative terms. I'm talking about the people I'm playing around. I played in attack. Kevin was like a central defensive midfielder, brick shit house in the middle of the field. You played defense too, didn't you, Dan?
Yeah, I played right back.
Yeah, so
I just yelled a lot.
You always had those kids that you would go up against where you would be deflecting the ball off of them. You would be tackling them, doing everything you can, but the ball never left their feet.
That was Matthew.
Magnet feet. We had a couple kids like that just had unbelievable control, and it was always and obviously it's awareness at a certain point and your footwork where that ball is getting back to you no matter what you do, because you always are innately putting your feet in the right position.
Right.
Assad to me is that.
I can see that.
Because not just that, his stutter steps, he's so unorthodox on the ball, too.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's probably hard
exactly
because he's unorthodox. It's hard for defenders to get a read on that sort of pacing and that stride because it's an unnatural gait in some way because of the way. I think Almiron's a lot of the same too, which is
Almiron is just finesse.
I've noticed lately
finesse as
I
fuck.
want to get a GIF or some sort of highlight reel of Almiron just on his breakaways, his sprints. It's like a cartoon. He throws his head back and Mario runs. Whenever he's got if he's got a breakaway, he throws his head back and Mario sprints to the ball, and it drives me crazy. Like it makes me crack up every time. It's amazing, and he's so fast, but it's comical to see.
Do we have any head down runners, sprinters? Because Tito does the same thing. Tito puts his head back.
Is the same.
You're right.
way.
No, you're right.
Garza.
Garza does put his head down whenever he trucks.
Pit bull, dude.
He's the fastest guy on the team, right? Garza?
No, Tito is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. I would have thought Garza for some reason. For at least maybe it's just because of long stretches, seeing him go from touchline to touchline so quickly.
Garza has those twinkle toe feet though. He's fast and he makes many short steps.
I'm trying not to touch on the Montreal game because I want to talk tonight. I didn't watch it.
It's like me having to listen to you guys talk about EPL. Let's keep talking about the Montreal game, guys.
That fake laugh. This guy. So according to your calculations,
like an Uber dork.
According to your calculations,
well, is it good that Jackson Hamill had the worst performance? It seems out of the whole of Montreal's. He had the worst grade.
So talk to me about the Montreal game. So you had frustrations with Joseph. Obviously saw the Tito goal. I watched it 100 times.
Simon was a bunch of shite.
Gorgeous.
Dude, yeah. He had no
lead up to the ball.
Time.
Yeah.
It's just
incredible.
and it's a laser beam.
It is. It's a rocket. And it was just
like, how is Bendick not in the hospital with broken hands after that shot at the end of the Orlando game that Tito took, right? We talked about him he has to have the hardest shot on the team.
I wonder if he just, it makes me wonder if at practice there's just a drill where they just put Tito at the top of the box and just roll him balls to just rip on goal.
But they do a horizontal plank stack, like karate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many boards can Tito crush? How many?
I mean, it's like Happy Gilmore out there. It's just like,
yeah. And he just elevates his entire body whenever he takes the shot too, which is great. I mean, it's just great. And it's good placement and stuff like that. The thing that's funny to see is that there's this weird middle ground in between that and his shots whenever he's got the ball at his feet, that if he takes a one touch inside the 18, he's still got all that power that he would take from outside the 18 and just sails it every time, unless he's got a couple seconds to actually play possession.
That was the rebound goal that he had against New England at the end of the game. He almost
just
hit it.
Skies it into the top of the net.
It barely tucked into the. I love top shelf goals.
Right.
oh, absolutely. But when they come from the 6 yard box, it's kind of like,
talk about making your butthole clench. So what else? Lorenowitz scored.
Lorenowitz did score. Took it right out of Martinez's grasp too.
I don't think I've seen somebody score with their chest since high school.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was an overall okay performance. I don't really have anything else to say. I want to talk more about last night's game than Montreal's as well. It's more fresh on our minds. It's a significant game for Atlanta, and I want to make the argument that I think last night was the most comprehensive performance I've seen out of this team all season for the full 90 minutes.
Yeah, so we had a much better ending to last night's game than the first game with Philly.
Absolutely.
The end of the Philly game was pretty good.
Absolutely.
You're talking like Rocky 2, and this was Rocky 1.
Right.
No, wait, no.
But we still get the Jorah Mormont end goal.
that was amazing.
Both games.
One goal every 49 minutes.
That's great.
Speed and Miss Martinez, one goal every 72 minutes.
Oh. So
let's trade him.
All right, so let's talk about last night.
We kept CJ Sapong from scoring.
CJ Sapong did not have a good game.
But we did see that
Philadelphia were just woeful.
It was like Tom Hanks Philadelphia last night.
It was.
I'll leave it.
I did notice, I think last night I did see something. I saw something that I hadn't seen thus far out of Walks' performance, and that was a real lack of pacing and speed with an.
I think I know the exact moment you're talking about, but he had to cover a lot of ground.
I know
there.
he did, but he got smoked, man. I mean,
yeah, but you're talking about coming towards my section on the left wing.
Yes,
that guy's fast though. I don't know.
I
who
know
that
he
was.
is.
Dude, he's a fucking center back, and he almost caught a winger.
I know. But that was the first time that I had a realization that Walks isn't. I mean, you don't really expect. Garza's pretty quick, but you don't really expect your defenders to be tracking faster than forwards are typically. You know, I mean,
well, if you're these wingbacks that we're trying to play all the time, you should be able to track back.
But yeah,
if that was Mears, does he catch him? I don't think so.
I don't think Mears is even in position to make the play.
You're not even funny enough to be making that joke.
Yeah. Fake laugh.
I think this is going to get old quick.
Yeah.
So what does Walks do then? I mean, does he make up for it with positional savvy? Is that a professional foul that he hits that guy with? Because it's not an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
No, it's not. And it ultimately.
What's your suggestion there? He doesn't have the natural speed for that.
No, he doesn't. And it ultimately ended up okay. I think it's just going to take a little bit more situational awareness of Parkhurst or LGP, whoever's there in the middle, to kind of pull over to give them that back one, because inevitably that forward's going to have to pull back or cut across, and somebody needs to be there to cut off that angle. It's just sort of a step down effect that everybody's got to kind of be the next man up. And we talked about that early on. Like I said, ultimately it wasn't a huge deal. It didn't end up leading to a goal or anything. And Walks ended up tracking back and making a step to clear it out. But it was the first time that I was hit with the realization that Walks he's just not overly fast, you know? And I just don't, and it wasn't something that I have to think about every week, because he is in position to where that speed isn't necessarily a factor. He's constantly tracking box to box, and he's in position that he doesn't have to be so fast. But I'll say it's room for concern leading up to games where you have really, really fast-paced forwards that could potentially be in one-on-one situations with him in a foot race and him get left behind.
Right. So if you were dealing with someone like Luciano Acosta, or you were and dealing with another fast,
Maxi Morales,
Maxi Morales,
or a Rudy. Even though that Dallas team shit, we'll get to future games. We have guys talking about the Minnesota game coming up, but
so let's start with last night. Let's start with the starting 11. We got a whole lineup change up last night, which I don't think any of us saw coming.
No, I feel like this was Julian Gressel's coming out party. He just took. I was concerned because I've been
given him a chance.
I've been pretty.
You
harsh.
haven't given him a chance.
Been pretty harsh on Gressel this year.
Give Gressel a chance, bro.
But he came out. Don't have any problems with Almiron being out for these couple of games. Gressel really showed his mettle in this game. He was fantastic. He was hard. He was pushing guys off the ball. He was making chances for other people.
Who do you like in the 10 spot more, him or Villalba?
Him. Gressel.
Really?
I remember like the start of the season, we put him in that 10 spot. And I said on this pod, don't do that anymore. It's not a good idea. And obviously he's grown, you know.
I think
he's got more experience.
This whole team is grown.
Oh yeah. And he played awesome. Definitely. I love him. Kratz and Carmona were a fantastic combination. Carmona was just chopping down, breaking up plays all over the field.
Easy.
Kratz was
tackles the world.
Does tackle the world. So does LGP though.
Dude, we got a couple.
I want to see a slide tackle.
Ooh, Elliot Beaven.
Yeah, we got a new face, Elliot Beaven, and we got an old face rejoining us, Austin Harris. Saying Julian Gressel won Rookie of the Year last night.
Absolutely.
I actually think last night he made himself ineligible because last night
he showed a maturity that surpasses a rookie level.
Last night he ascended from rookie to veteran.
Agreed.
Like he had such calm and composure last night that I have not seen from him, even in his best stretches this year.
Yep.
The way his link-up play was insane. I think we finally found his position.
Yeah, I mean, he could be more of a Swiss Army knife, I think, in other positions when other guys out. But he has solidified himself as a starter in any other MLS team, I believe.
Yeah, but the reason he's not a starter on this team
is because there's so much
our
depth
team
and
is
talent.
tonk. Yeah.
So we talked, I think we started touching on it last week, and like a lot of times we deviated, we went on tangents. But 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how deep we are up front. And like, if we lost somebody on this team, like who would be the most devastating person to lose? And I said Carlos Carmona, because we have so much depth up front. And last night, if that's not an indication of how deep we are in the attacking in the attacking third, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because you talk about bringing in Gressel, Kratz, and then you have
McCann. Yeah.
Well, McCann, coming up and coming up into the mid, playing on the left wing, or not left wing, but playing in the mid whenever Garza came back in. But then you also bring in Peterson, and then you bring in Kenwin Jones, who looked like a monster out there last night. He looked great last. It was funny. We were sitting there, we were watching it, and then 10 minutes in, he was like, he's playing fucking fantastic. And we have a substitution coming in, and Angie's like, they're about to take out Kenwin. She's like, how much? What shit would that be? All right, you had a great couple minutes. Let's bring it back in.
You're gassed. You need fresh legs. We need fresh legs.
Yeah, that was strange when they brought on they brought on Kenwin first and then Peterson. So I was trying to figure out what our formation was looking at, and we were 2-0 up at that point. So it's like, and it was pretty close to the end of the game. We're like, we putting on 2 forwards to just annihilate this thing. I thought it was great. I'm assuming just Jones through training sessions has just found a spot and sort of realized and understood where he fits into this team.
Yeah, I think he's definitely on a mentorship level rather than
with Vasquez.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's what we're getting some comments in the chat saying, like Robert Swick saying that Vasquez has potential, and but he gets tired quickly like Kenwin does. And I love Brandon Vasquez.
I haven't seen that. I don't. Is there an example, Robert, in a game that you can source that?
Yeah, I was about to say the same, because he played the full 90+ minutes against
Kevin
Battery
again.
So back to Gressel finding his place and this team playing. Like, this team is playing with a swagger right now that so we started out. You brought to my attention last night that it was week 1.
I did something good. Oh,
yes,
yeah.
And you said that this is a playoff team, or it's a complete failure of a season.
You remember?
And
that?
I scoffed at it.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
No, not rightfully so. Whenever a team is getting worked on, developed for 3 years before it even takes the field.
No, you said it like week 1, but then you repeated yourself in a low point during the season. Remember this? And you were like, we came off it, and you were like, I don't care, this is still a playoff. And me, Kevin, are just like, Tim, what the fuck are you talking about?
Let's just say I have never lost faith in this team.
It's so
right. You haven't.
You are just so high on that horse right now. It is unbelievable.
I'm only high on the horse because the horse is high to begin with. You guys don't ever let me get wins. I never get to win, and I won. We won last night.
Right. I think it was after it might have been.
We had a slump, and we were feeling pretty rough
because we just lost 3-1 to DC, and then we'd lost 3-1 to New York.
That was
and then I think
we were all kind of wondering where this team was headed, because that was during the Martinez outage, and we were trying to figure out who this team was.
To the playoff,
was out. Shut up. Anyway, so you won. You're right. You mentioned that in week 1. My concerns at the beginning of the season were waiting for this team to find the rhythm and composure and chemistry with one another, that the plays that they were attempting in the first 2 and 3 weeks actually started to shake themselves out, where they were doing dummies and players were making runs to follow up on it, or they were doing a step over like back heel and there was a player actually making a run to pick that up.
That was intense.
Or they were, taking shots outside the 18 or playing it across the box and pulling multiple defenders. And I saw every one of those things play out last night. I don't think there was a 50-50 ball that Atlanta didn't win. And if there was, it's no more than a handful. there were constantly just these link up plays, and not even link up plays by players that are consistently playing with one another during regulation. I'm talking about Assad and McCann linking up consistently on chip shots and back heels and things that they haven't built up that chemistry in a 90-minute play, but they've at least been practicing and playing together long enough that it works.
It took them 3 weeks to get that chemistry.
Exactly.
3 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, even though they're not playing in a game scenario, they're at least practicing and have a situational awareness of one another and how they like to play, that those things shake themselves out.
That little, what was it, McCann, Assad, the little triangle thing that they were doing in the corner, and the best thing about it, everyone in the crowd, at least who I was sitting around, realized what was going on, and we were like, "Wait!"
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was so cool. It was passes. It was, I think McCann threw a back heel in there as well.
Yes,
there was lollipops going all over the place.
Assad couldn't get to that ball. It would have been amazing.
He couldn't.
It would have been amazing if he would have got to that ball.
That was the best bit of play. So the best goal I've ever seen, and unfortunately, it's an Arsenal goal, and I think it happened like.
His name is Dennis Bergkamp.
No, it was like Jack Wilshere was part of it, which is shockingly bad.
I know what you're talking about.
And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think it goes from the center half, like five different guys knock it around, and then Wilshere puts it in the back of the net. But and this reminded me so much of that. It's been probably my favorite moment of the season. But seeing that little display they put on.
And to Tim's point about what he saw at the beginning of the year and what he hoped to see out of this team, and my reservations about what I hadn't seen at that point, week in and week out, like I said, last night, it was just like something clicked last night, and I was watching a team play that I hadn't seen play, even though the starting 11 was completely different. It wasn't familiar faces that you were expecting to see, but they were playing with this chemistry that I have wanted to see all season, and they were linking up, and things that we were talking about NYCFC doing with team goals and distributing the ball. This team was doing. You're looking at a defense that looks stout on set plays. Brad Guzan's situational awareness and his ability to control that 18-yard box last night was some of the best I've ever seen. Him coming out to the edge of the box and diving to punch a ball out when he had no business doing that, but he had the angle and he had the timing down to clear that ball out, so it's not even a threat or an issue. And he was constantly making those plays last night that I just was really blown away and really happy to see that for a full 90 minutes last night. So
the best thing about Brad Guzan, I thought last night, is he didn't punch it because he caught it.
Oh, absolutely.
Every single time he caught it.
Aside from the one that he comes out way out to have to punch out because there's I forget who it is over on I think it's LGP and somebody else. They're going up for a 50-50 ball. He just comes out of nowhere and blindsides it to clear it out of the box entirely. But yeah, I mean, like I said, across all 11 last night, I just saw things that I've been waiting to see without me necessarily thinking every week, oh, I really hope I see some of this. But everything just seemed to click last night. And for it to be the game that clinches a playoff berth for this team, it only seems fitting to see that kind of a performance.
So we have a lot going on in the live chat right now. I'll keep basking in the glory that is my win. Elliot Beaven, new face, related to we had Rachel Beaven on the live chat last week.
Yeah.
So let's see, how far in the playoffs can we go? I think we can go all the way. I think we're fit to win the cup.
We've got just as much chance as anybody else.
The way Toronto's playing right now, we've hit our stride.
Agreed. We're hitting it at the right time, but we've still got 5 weeks left.
Yeah. Seth Carter says, anyone else surprised where we are considering Martinez missed half the season? I obviously am not. I'm surprised we're about to take the second seed.
I am. I'm surprised.
I'm surprised by that. I thought we would squeak in with a 5 or 6 seed.
I agree. I can't believe that we're in contention for a second seed.
Yeah. What about this thought? I love this. Just to go back to the guy who wins every contest, Brian Diefenbach, joining us in the in the chat, saying Tata is showing that Kenwin is fit and able to play, so he will likely be traded or sold in the offseason. I love that. Get somebody in young. I know Miles Robinson is probably the heir apparent to Michael Parkhurst, but if we can get some sort of center half to bring in there or right back, since we'll likely lose Anton Walks, If not this year, then next year. Because I think that Tottenham will probably loan him back to us. He's not going to make their starting 11. And I don't think they're going to make much money off of him if they sell him inside the EPL or to a championship club. Elliot Beaven also says, how about Jacob Peterson? Thought he was great last night. I think every time that guy's come in, I think that he shows that he's valuable in multiple positions. He's a Swiss Army man, much like Julian Gressel is, or like Tito, or Kevin Kratz for that matter. Let's see. Robert Swick says battery game was a good example for Vasquez. So do you, Dan? I think you just replied to him, but noticeably slower on the right side, and he did score, but it was his height instead of his skill and energy. I don't know. Seth Carter's saying that we signed Anton Walks until the 2019 season. I could have sworn originally his loan was supposed to end in July.
They extended it through October for this season.
Yeah, so I believe he's going back to Tottenham unless Darren Eales made some calls to his contacts back in London. Maybe that happened.
As far as we know right now, at the end of the season, he goes back to Tottenham.
Have we talked to Austin Harris is asking, he got into the chat. He got into the chat earlier late. He says that, sorry, just jumping around. He's asking if we've talked about the Almiron tribute from Josef. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so after Josef scored, he took Almiron's. He goes over to the sideline, gets the number 10
he put it on his face. Yeah.
And he mentioned that after the game about
Antifa celebration.
How much
that's awesome.
Almiron's contributed to his season, and a lot of those goals were assisted by him and stuff like that. And the other question was about Gressel's celebration. You know, he does the A, which is also Almiron's celebration most of the time.
Yeah,
so was that
Almiron doesn't. He does it for Atlanta, but he also does it for Asuncion. And he does it for his. I can't remember his wife's name, but
which we also found out why Martinez doesn't celebrate.
Which is interesting. Yeah, I think it was a dirty. I want to say it was a Dirty South Soccer article talking about that. Yeah, talking about how he was so down about the fans in Torino just giving him shit about not scoring.
Yeah, so it was just like a taunt to the fans,
crowd.
essentially.
Yeah, that's great.
Every time he scores. So.
Let's see. Elliot Beaven's asking if Miles Robinson is any good. We only saw him for a half in the Charleston Battery game. He's 20 years old.
He scored a no goal, something like that.
Yeah, he did.
He's responsible for 2 of them, I think. But I think he's got a lot of potential.
He's a big guy. He's very young. I think that Parkhurst and or LGP can usher him into this team. I don't think, like I said, he's heir apparent. Him or Will Ramanu plays kind of right back or center back, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So anyway, I think as this team goes, I'd like to see us continually put in our youth into the system. I mean, we've shown that our academy is great between Gosselin and Andrew Carlton and now Lagos Kunga and a couple other guys. And dude, we get Romario Williams back next year.
Right.
It's exciting.
Right.
I don't know. I'd love to see more from Miles Robinson. It does suck that the U.S. Open Cup's over. That is a great chance for a lot of teams. Cup play. It looks like, or for teams to test out their younger players.
I mean, to that point. So about younger players and signing new players, Team Whirly asked when's Messi released on free agent.
Coming January 1, if he doesn't sign a new contract, he is available.
Yes, that's exciting about
right
that prospect,
now,
but I don't want this team to already be that.
You realize he is my age, right?
I know.
Messi is the greatest soccer player, arguably, of all time, and he's 30 years old.
I know.
Like he just turned 30.
We don't need Messi right
Exactly. And that's my point. Is
Link
that
back up
I
with
don't
Tata?
want.
No.
Oh, that is the one thing that I think that Atlanta does have that other teams don't, as far as a pull to get him onto this team. But I just don't. I agree with you, Dan. I don't want to see this team become like the Orlando or
Arthur
something
Blank.
like that. Like you're just
for these washed up stars.
yeah. Or you're just paying these outright. Like I just think that what this Atlanta organization has done and what it has set the tone or put a foot forward in doing in years to come is to really grow within itself. And I just don't. Yeah. I just don't want to see that happen.
Savvy financial investments.
Yes.
Investment being the word, because you buy low and sell high. Not buy high and let them just crumble and fall apart.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I don't know, man.
I mean, would I love to go to an Atlanta United game and see Messi play? Like, yeah, that'd be fucking great. But at the same time, I also don't want to see that. You know, from the well-being of the club in years to come, I don't want to see that.
Because, I want to see
because you're going to have to overpay for a player like that.
So that's the thing, right? We have 3 right now. We already have all 3 DP spots allocated. We have.
Right.
I don't think that any other 3 are going to be gone.
You don't think any of the 3 are going to be gone?
I don't think so in this offseason.
I don't think so either.
I think people like contracts we look at could be Mears, Jones. Those are ones.
We're not locked into Mears
back.
over a period of time, are we? His contract isn't like a multi-year contract or anything.
I
hope not. I know we're paying him like 1.2 or something ridiculous like that.
Atlanta United expiring contracts for 2017. At
least I'm pretty sure we're paying Mears 1.2 because I remember that number specifically and being like, why the fuck?
So we have quite a few free agents come the end of the year.
Yeah, even Carmona's on a 1 year as well.
It's Carlos Carmona, Brad Guzan, Greg Garza, obviously, Yamil Assad, Bobby Boswell, Lorenowitz, Julian Gressel. That's probably just because it's a rookie contract. This seems like the entire team, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. But I mean, that's what you're going to do. I mean, I don't think it's going to be too much of a big deal to keep a lot of these guys together.
Yeah.
After you're just extending those contracts.
We also may lose Jacob Peterson, who's a journeyman, who has played in many teams. Alec Cann's also expiring. Tyrone Mears, as Kevin said, he's making $360K right now, Kevin.
Oh, why did I think?
Or wait, no, hold on. No, that's his market value. It doesn't have his contract on transfermarket.com.
I want to know I'm going to look that up now.
Kevin Kratz, Zach, I never play Lloyd. I guess for Mario Williams' contract's over. We'll re-up his contract. The guy's got 15 goals in 20 games over in Charleston. Rainish, Mark Bloom, Tim Backus, Chris Goslin, Miles Robinson. These are all like rookie contracts. I think Jeffrey O2 is already is also on there. Wheeler Amanu. Yeah, those must just because they're rookie contracts.
Well, the other thing is like because MLS is pretty close about their contracts. Wonder how much of this on transfer market's right.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
I trust that website for the most part.
I mean, it's the best we have.
That website lets me know just how much Liverpool overpays for every single player and how much they get screwed. Funny little anecdote in the chat. Is that where you were giggling about, Kevin?
Yep.
So Austin Harris says, Tim, I thought I ran into you last night in the bathroom line. I asked the guy if he did an Atlanta United podcast show, and he looked at me like I had a third eye on my forehead. That's pretty great.
Tyrone.
I think Seth Carter. I think Miguel is probably gone next year. I think Miguel could be gone. I think Villalba could be gone next year as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim.
I don't know, man. I'd like to keep the faith, especially Villalba.
So
I guess Mears isn't making it. I don't know why I got that. It's 183,000. It seems low.
I had heard that there's potential that you could buy down.
But Villalba's 150,000? That doesn't sound right.
Villalba's contract
with TAM money. And then get another DP in.
DP, yeah.
Oh, that sounds so. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how this works.
But
I
then
don't understand how any of this works.
It's going to be interesting to see what some of these. This offseason is going to be either just very interesting, but it could, I have a feeling, go pear-shaped pretty quickly.
Yeah. So what happens?
But
so
I like how
we lose Almiron. What do? You bring Andrew Carlton in, right? You let him just give him the reins in the 10. That's a spot, right? I mean, he's a 10.
We've got Julian Gressel now. He has more experience.
Yeah, I'm a big dummy. It's 183,000 is what we're paying Mears. So I don't know where. I got that
where are you getting that from?
They disclosed the contracts.
Yeah, they disclosed
a couple months ago.
But I'm on Spot Track / MLS or whatever.
So that's a great point. So Robert Swick says, honestly, if we paid $10 million for Miggy, and some Euro team wants to spend 25 to 30 for him, I'll take the profit.
Right, but we only get a third of that.
Right, exactly. That's what Seth Carter was asking is how much profit do we get from that? The MLS takes 2/3 of it.
They take 2/3 for the first year. The second year, I think it goes down to a half, and then the third, it's like a 1/3.
So you're saying if you keep that player for 2 years and so
the more money you get.
We are paying Kenwin Jones $413,000.
Yeah, I mean, he was a name, right? That was the reason we brought him in.
Big chunk. McCann's making 560.
McCann's proved his worth.
I agree.
Because I think if we lose Garza, I think we have an unconventional left back in McCann.
Yeah, I hate the MLS structure too, Dean. Should we buy Assad or
Greg
Garza?
Garza making 150 is just crazy to me, but I guess it's because of his contract and being on loan, right?
No, I really doubt that Tijuana's paying any of his contract.
Really? You think
A lot of times whenever they send him out on loan, they make the receiving team pay their contract.
Right.
Yeah.
So get them off the books and get them experience, or in his case, get him some game time without having to worry about him hurting his hip
Walk's
again.
guaranteed salary from Atlanta being $53,000 blows my mind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Blows my mind.
But then you sit and think about at 19 and 20 years old, would you have taken a $53,000 a year?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, to play soccer. I mean, seriously.
Exactly. I think I'm trying to see what our lowest starting salary. It doesn't list Brad Guzan's contract on here for some reason.
Probably because he was a late arrival.
Maybe. No, because it lists Bobby Boswell. That's 260. I don't know why it's not listing Guzan's. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So do you see that from in the chat?
Yeah, Richard Gordon, new guy, says, what up, peoples? Longtime podcaster, first-time live listener. Welcome. Glad to have you, man. I don't know. If we've had this discussion before, if you're only allowed to keep one of the loanees that we have, to me, it's Garza that you have to keep. I love Assad to death, but
Yeah, I said Assad last time, but
Garza's the best left.
I made that whole point.
he
I think
fits the
defenders over.
system.
I think defenders over forwards any day.
yeah,
A solid defender.
there's more competition
Ooh.
and there's more guys playing forward.
Exactly. That's my point.
really-
Is that I think good forwards are a dime a dozen. I mean, you're going to be paying a lot for them, but there's a really big supply, versus defenders.
Right,
It's just not as glamorous a position.
Just
and I think
just the way he fits the system
Right.
that we have.
Exactly.
He fits it more than anybody.
And
So
that's
what-
going to be really hard to come.
What
by.
do you do then? If you lose Assad, do you put McCann up on the left side with Garza? That would be. I think that would be kind of fun to watch.
I noticed last night that McCann would push forward a lot further and Assad would pull back.
I think it was interesting to see McCann his first game playing at left back against Orlando. I thought he was he showed a lot of timidity in that game.
He definitely
Mhm.
did.
and he washed all that away.
Exactly.
And he's just like, I was given free reign to do whatever I want in that left back position. I'm gonna just do it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Make it your own.
If we lose Guzan, do we go after somebody like Andre Blake? I would love that.
Who are we going to lose Guzan to? I think
If we don't extend his contract, at least according to transfermarket.com, he's out of contract at the end of the year.
I'd say we'd
I
pick
think
him up.
we pick him up.
So let's talk a little bit about, we've got sidetracked, which is great because this isn't
It's fun.
just,
It's a good discussion.
it is.
I like it.
Anything else to take away from last night's game? I mean, Villalba's pass to Jacob Peterson, something of just beauty.
Well, also Jacob Peterson's stutter step with the keeper right in front of
Yes.
him. The ball disappears.
He megged him.
He
He megged
somehow pulls
Yeah, he
it back
did.
as he's going forward. He pulls the ball back as he's going forward. Keeper commits to it, and then he's just right back out with it. It was
That was a veteran move.
a magic trick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, I thought that. He megged one of the best keepers, probably the second, third best keeper in the MLS last night, and then put the ball, and it was something of beauty.
Yeah, it was great. No, I have nothing but good things to say.
Gressel's that was a veteran finish from him. You don't see that a lot, guys trying trailing to hit it with the outside of your foot.
I saw LGP got the assist for that, but really that goal was all Gressel. He took it all the way from pretty much the center half.
Agreed.
And took him all the way out. It was really great stuff.
I just can't say enough about just how happy I was to see that performance last night. The full 90 minutes. Like I said, I mean, there was some fatigue that came on late, but it was just really, really good to see them address a lot of concerns, not just about their playing, but just about the depth that this team has.
Yeah.
And with it being a game to clinch the playoffs, and it was great.
Yeah, there are only a couple permutations of this team that put us in a kind of a losing or not so great position. If we lose LGP,
No, Guzan not lick the goalpost. He licked the ball. Did you see the pictures of
Yeah,
that? Somebody
yeah.
photoshopped his head on the ball, basically, so he's just licking his own.
Yeah. so we
Or maybe, or is this a thing like Brad Guzan finds something different to lick every game they win? He's just slowly like a cat, just licking everything.
And then get him to just spray the field one day. Yeah.
Just watching this goal from Gressel. It's just so finesse.
So we learned that Lorenowitz can't replace LGP. He can replace Parkhurst.
Parkhurst, right?
And then we can't play without Carmona and without Almiron, or we can't play without Carmona and put Kratz in that position.
Correct.
But we have a lot of lineup formations we can play, and we're solid with.
Well, just think about it. I mean, Lorenowitz, Carmona to an extent, Kratz and Gressel are all guys you can put in at multiple positions. Like they can sort of rotate around pretty freely. So I feel like, our depth is great. And, injuries are going to happen. There's nothing you can do about injuries.
No, not at all. Okay, so we have anything else from last night's game that you guys want to touch on? We win. We keep a clean sheet. That's 22-3 that we've outscored opponents in Mercedes Benz. If that's not mistaken,
it's just I mean, it's unreal. I think that's what makes me more hesitant about this weekend than anything is that this team just looks so good. At the Benz.
22-3, we've outscored.
I don't know what to expect to see them on another field now.
Crazy,
to see them on grass.
Well, that's the thing.
Are they going to be limited in their play
against? The thing is,
we're playing New England, so
New England plays on turf, though.
Oh, do they? I didn't realize that.
New England we beat them 7-0, and then they went to Orlando last night and lost 6-1, and someone got sent off in the 11th
that's
minute.
right, with the red card.
And now they're going to be back home. I mean, I can understand that.
Game?
Are you going to? Yeah, but I just feel like
they're like, all right, let's just get out of this season at this point.
Like they're done. Like they can't make the playoffs, can they?
No.
Richard Gordon, they do play on turf. And another interesting tidbit. So Kawasi got sent off last night, as he did in our game. I think we'll have. I don't know without Jay Heaps there anymore if they're gonna. I guess they're still continuing to play shitty teams or formations or putting out the wrong people. One thing of note: what's been one of the biggest things aside from the turf that's caused our success? We have home field advantage. We have the turf
field dimensions.
Field dimensions. Okay, field dimensions and Mercedes Benz. For soccer, 115 by 75 yards. Gillette Stadium, any guess?
95 by 65.
73.
116 by 75. It's 1 yard longer than our field. It's almost exactly Mercedes Benz.
I don't think it can be 95, right? It doesn't have to be 100.
Yeah,
Go home, Kevin. You're drunk.
According to my calculations. But we're going into. We already beat the shit out of this team. We're going to a downtrodden team playing almost in the same kind of setting that we were. We're not going to travel 40,000 fans up there.
Not with that attitude. We're not.
Kevin
Brown is 40,000 Atlanta
Kevin
United
Brown.
fans.
We got to get him back on the show. We got to get Dean Worley on the show. We got a lot of you guys. I think.
Dean Worley does not like Michael Parkhurst.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to go ahead and float this out now. Yeah, so Toronto game is not going to be the end. I'm saying after we win the cup, after our last official Home Before Dark episode, I think we owe it to the listeners of this show that have been so supportive week in and week out that we just have a full fan appreciation show. If you want to call in, DM us,
absolutely.
and we will just sit here, old radio telethon style. Like we will sit here as long as people want to Skype in. We will just sit and just make a whole fan appreciation show where we just talk about everything that took place this season, highlights, lowlights, and everything in between.
I like it. Yeah. Richard Gordon. I like this guy. Saying they just got whooped by Orlando 6-1. They're playing like ass right now.
True. Wait,
Yeah.
who? Orlando or? Hey!
Oh God, dude, it's so funny. It's the same
So
kid
I'm-
with the Kermit Orlando jersey
I'm really
avatar that shows
confused.
up on
So
every single
I
Atlanta
saw-
United post.
I saw a stat last night that Atlanta United is the first expansion team to make the playoffs since 2009. But hasn't Orlando made it? Like,
No, they've got to have made it because they've been in around the league like 3 or 4 years.
right?
But you don't got history, bro.
Exactly. I don't.
You don't got no history, bro.
So I don't know who.
I'm sure they've made the playoffs.
It must have just been
I'm
a mistake,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Surely.
I'm
Okay.
sure they-
I thought so.
I mean,
Okay.
they've got Kaká.
Exactly. I mean, they bought not. I mean, they built not bought, bro.
Yeah,
That's right.
We got another. I've seen this guy or gals. I'm assuming guy.
Ooh, say that one. the Boutron boy.
I can't say it. De Burton Boise, I guess.
Boise.
Anyway,
Yeah, sure.
new to the live chat. Thank you for joining us. Said, I vote Dan to charter several planes to fly us 40,000 fans to travel to each away for the rest of the season. I guess he just assumes because you're
it's
British.
his accent. He
Yeah,
just
yeah.
comes off smelling like royalty.
Yeah, I can drive you in my minivan. I mean,
It is pretty sick.
yeah.
It's got the automatic door. You just press the handle one time and it just slides
And I've
back.
got a DVD player in it.
That's sick.
It's sick.
Can we tailgate out of that? How about
Fuck
next
yeah,
year?
we could
Next year,
tailgate
Next year, we do need to find out what we need to do for a tailgate.
with that, I wanted to run this idea by you
if
guys.
We all put in for a parking pass.
guys,
in
we
the
were gonna.
Gulch.
So to this day, before we get on the tailgate, I know we've gotten a lot of questions about merch and stuff like that, and it was months ago. We at least want to get stickers put together, and
Here we go. You were talking to me about scarves.
I don't know
yesterday.
which happened first, whether it was Tim saying that this team is a playoff team or when I sent Dan the information to get stickers made.
I think I told Dan yesterday I've had more sticker mule packages show up to my door in the past day. And you've had how long to do it?
So back to the
it has been a while.
So to
I get
tailgate,
paid tomorrow, so maybe I could put the order in there.
you don't have to pay at all. We've already said we'll give you money. Just order them.
Send me the fucking artwork.
Oh, so now it's on me again? How many? I already sent it to you. I sent it to both you for this
Oh, you did?
reason. Yeah.
You didn't. You didn't task me with. I'm very task oriented.
So tell him to do it. Don't point.
All
this
right, I'm
back at
going to
me.
order the
Look,
stickers.
I'm
going to order the stickers tomorrow.
I did the artwork.
At-
What else do I got to
At
do?
12
assholes?
noon on Twitter, I will tweet out the sticker mule order. All right? So, accountability.
Well, now I want to look at it again. I want to make sure it's
No,
right.
it's coming. I don't care if it looks green because you fucking did CMYK in USA. It's going to happen.
No, Kevin. I
$1,000
sent
for
you-
5,000 stickers. That's what's going to happen, Kevin.
Oh, whoever was talking about Dan.
Bought not built, bro.
Dan, Jay Riddle was not wrong talking about Dan randomly yelling.
But yeah, so tailgate next year.
So not tailgate next year. I was thinking about this last night. We actually have away games coming up. How many of you guys would be interested? We'd have to talk to some sort of bar or restaurant about doing a watch party. Everybody else is doing it. Like, would you guys be interested if you're not already doing a watch party and coming and watching the game with us, or if we were to go out there and do a live broadcast or something like that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know. Just
Yeah,
wanted to
there's
throw
like-
that out there.
Cheekies in Sandy Springs, Fido's, and then somewhere in Decatur. I don't know. I can't get to Decatur.
Yeah, that's too uppity for me.
It's too, well, you have to go through, like, it's really hard to get to.
You're so suburban, Dan.
I know.
Look, it's hard to get
Hey,
here
if-
at 9 o'clock at night on a Thursday.
I know,
How can you
it
possibly
is.
get to Decatur?
Exactly. Hey, if I can't park my car immediately outside of where I am,
That's it. I'm going to Taco Mac.
Right, I'm just gonna drive through fucking McDonald's.
Dean Worley says live broadcast at the Toronto game.
That's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah, if we can. So what do we got to do? I guess we got to get a parking pass in the Gulch and get.
I think so. I saw parking at the Gulch was $30.
But we
yesterday.
can't just set up down there, right? I mean, we have to.
Yeah.
What, like set up a table?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do
For
whatever the
drinks
fuck you
or
want, dude.
like,
Like Dean's talking about doing a
We basically would need to buy 2 spots.
a live broadcast down
One
there.
or actually we need 2 spots. One to park the car and one to post up in. And you can do whatever the fuck you want in that other parking spot.
Okay.
Right.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's shoot to do it.
Well, let's get stickers made first.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can
Baby
commit
steps.
to that.
Baby steps.
And then we'll have stickers at the tailgate, which would be really great. So, any other thoughts? So we got the New England game this weekend. So score predictions, start sending those in now. We're at, my time's all off. I think we're at an hour now because we started so late. I don't even know anymore.
We're at like 110 right now. We're good though.
You mean we've been having so much fun that the time's just flown by, right?
Definitely what I meant to say. So score predictions. Tim, I think, was closest in that he said 4-2 Atlanta. So you got the spread.
You're talking about the Montreal game.
Montreal game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were closest. You at least got the spread right.
I called the Philly game exactly on Twitter with Atlanta United Fan TV.
Nice.
I said 3-0.
So yeah, I had loss. Obviously, Dan had nothing. Next season, we got to keep a running goal.
Yeah,
Next
that's
year,
right.
Yeah, we got to get a whiteboard.
Get your score predictions into the chat
Okay,
for
so,
the New England game.
Oh, Elliot, love that. 4-0.
Wow, I like it too. All right, so Saturday, New England. Dan, why don't you start us off tonight?
I will go for a kind of disappointing 3-1 win.
Okay.
I don't say it's lackluster. I think that we dominate, but it's still we struggle to put the ball in the net at the same rate we did against them the first time. I say 2-0 at Atlanta.
I was going to say 2-0 as well. All right, so we got a couple coming in here now. Elliot Bevan says 4-0, which you guys already mentioned.
Richard Gordon says 4-1 at Atlanta.
Dean 2-0 Atlanta over New England. 3-1 over. I guess we got to do Minnesota too.
Oh yeah, we do.
Are we playing in the snow again?
Yeah, is the roof going to be open?
Ooh, do you think they open it for the Toronto game at the very least?
I hope so.
They've got to, right?
I figured why would they?
They've got to.
I didn't know why it wouldn't be open like last night, or
I agree.
Does it cost money to open it?
Well, I'm sure it's probably just a power suck more than anything.
Well, just like, I mean,
let's put it this way. Lifespan, every time they open it is one less time that they can open it. The big scheme of things.
It's true. It's like an airplane.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Because every time they do that, it's stressing every one of those joints that it moves on. So
we got a couple more in here. Robert Swick says 5-0 Atlanta.
Wow.
Seth Carter, also another 5-0 Atlanta. Been road tripping to colleges these last 2 Thursdays. Thanks for the quality entertainment, guys.
I like Robert Swick's idea. Can we import snow into Mercedes Benz?
Hey, if we can pipe sound in, we can.
I think everybody should bring a big styrofoam cooler.
Oh,
and we just crush it up. And then whenever the game starts, just start shaking it. Ow!
He's drunk. That probably just sounded terrible in everybody's ears.
Wow.
D.A. Burton Boise says 3-0 Atlanta against New England. Actually, yeah, okay. Robert Swick was saying 2-1 Atlanta over the Revs, 5-0 against Minnesota. Seth Carter says 4-1 over Minnesota. Martinez hat trick again. I agree with Dean. I think Minnesota is a very underrated team.
So at that point, what do you think for Minnesota?
I think we draw them. I think it's 2-2.
Okay.
I'm going 4-0 over Minnesota.
Wow. Dan thinks we're going to put up 7 goals in 2 games.
We did it in 1 game.
Okay.
Richard Gordon says 3-0 over Minnesota. Got to keep the home domination.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1-0 against Minnesota. I think it's just one. Just one.
Who scores? Who gets the lone goal? Is it Josef?
Say Tito. I think it's Villalba.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go.
Last night I got so disappointed.
No. I'm going Assad.
I'm
going to go Assad.
Last night I got so excited. Tito scores that goal where he placed it in there, and Angie and I are yelling, "Show us your Titos," and getting so excited, and then they brought it back.
So is he sponsored by Tito's yet? because
Him and Bert Kreischer doing commercials together.
I think I've got my next Photoshop job is a nice Tito's.
I still want to do that Summer of Yam poster with Yamil Assad because he's just murdering folks this summer. We got another score prediction in there. Elliot Beeman says 3-2 against.
Retracted. Oh, he had 3-2 though.
Yeah, he had 3-2 Atlanta over Minnesota. They have a good team. They built without DPs in mind and
didn't buy it.
They got Orlando's.
Built,
they got Orlando's only good player last year, Kevin Molino, and since Robert Swick saying show us your Tito's. Apparently, someone got arrested for that at Minnesota.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't either. So on that point, anything else?
We're back at our regularly scheduled time next week,
Holy
right?
shit, we're back on a Wednesday night. Wow. All right, well.
This just into a programming update. Next week, we are back Wednesday night.
Yeah.
9:30.
I said regularly scheduled time, Dan.
It's been a hell of a stretch. Thanks, guys, for checking us out and sticking with us week in and week out. I know it's been a fun stretch, though. I mean, I think that all of us, we're not out of it yet. You know, we got this game this weekend and then Tuesday before we start getting back to a weekly schedule. But you know, I think a lot of us thought that there was no way we're going to get out of September with us being undefeated. And we have the possibility of doing that with a win this weekend. Or this week, I think we get out of September as of this weekend, right? Yeah, I think as of Saturday, we're into October because today's 28th, 29th. No, it's the 30th.
Sunday.
The 30th.
It's Sunday.
Yeah. So if we can at least
Minnesota
draw,
will be October.
yeah, if we can at least draw, we can get through all of September without
Undefeated September.
with 6 games.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So thanks for checking us out. You can find all of us on Twitter. Tim, where can they find you
You
at?
can find me at Tim Herb.
Dan, what about you?
You can find me at DNGMS.
And you can find me as well at the Uber Dork. That's the UB, the number 3 RDORK. Find us collectively at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. Thanks, guys, for checking us out. We love all of you and your support. Be sure to leave us 5 stars and or a review on iTunes. However you find us. Hell, talk shit to us on YouTube. We'll read that out too.
Yeah.
And
Tell
thanks
us how
again.
shit we are.
Yeah, exactly. Or tell us how shit I am. So thanks again, guys. We love you. We'll see you next week. As always, be home before dark.
The 5 stripes are coming.
Oh, because of New England.